But right now, as a small company, I'm just here to try and do good and try to open this door to as many people as possible because I do think that shopping second is the best thing we can do for our environment.
So you want to make an impact. You're thinking about starting a business, sharing your voice. How do women do it that handle motherhood, family, and still chase after those dreams? Well, listen each week as we dive into the stories of women who know. This is Call Me CEO. What I love to see is when women see something missing in the marketplace and they decide, I think I'm going to change that. And that goes for men too. Any innovator that looks and sees something that they can do to improve our way of life, to protect our planet, improve the humans around us, or even make life a little bit easier, I'm all for it. This episode is awesome for that because we're actually talking with Remington Fraser, who is the CEO and founder of the Revury, which takes high-end fashion and helps you to purchase them at a much lower price. She is going to share with us how she left her attorney lifestyle for something that really felt like it had purpose and meaning in her life and was more conducive to moms. She also has employed an entire mom workforce, which is just absolutely amazing. So let's dive into the episode and don't forget to subscribe. Welcome back, everyone, to Call Me CEO. This is Camille Walker, and today we are talking about an all-women's workforce with the CEO and founder, Remington Fraser, and she has the company of luxury products called the Revury. And what I really loved about her story and what she is with reaching out is that she has an all-mom work team. She talks about incorporating women and mothers back into the workforce, which as you know here, is very important to us at Call Me CEO. So thank you so much for being here, Remington. We're so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So you're a California girl. You love luxury. Let's dive into that. Where did this passion come from and how did you come up with the idea?
Before this, I was an attorney and I represented primarily fashion apparel companies in the corporate M&A and security space. And then prior to that, I worked in luxury sales. So I worked my way through undergrad and grad school. So in total, I have over a decade of experience in the area. So I always knew I wanted to be in fashion, but the question was like, where do I fit? And I never really found my place until I decided to leave my law firm, which was for so many reasons. But one of them being that I really wanted to start a family and I was just miscarriaging a lot. And I think it was stress and, a culmination of factors. But eventually I decided to leave my firm and start the Reverie, and it's kind of changed everything.
Wow. So that's a pretty big jump. My husband runs a law firm, so I'm familiar with attorneys, their lifestyle, how demanding it can be. And it's interesting too, because a big part of that is really trying to help women to feel more included in law firms and in that workforce. But it is a very intense work schedule. It's a very demanding work life. What was that like for you? I mean, going through all that schooling and then shifting gears.
That's a great question. I think everything is part of your life lessons, and you're going to gain so much experience and talent from every step that you take. Even if it's not readily apparent in the moment, you're going to gain skills and life lessons that you're going to apply down the line. I don't regret 1 second of it. I kind of fell ass backwards into law school, to be honest with you. I only applied to one school. I kind of took the LSAT on a whim. And this one school had a great fashion law program where they would have courses specializing in it. So things unique to the fashion industry, such as counterfeiting or labor laws, talent versus modeling, unemployment. So I really leaned into that and I found my niche and I was so passionate about it. But again, life throws you curveballs, and I really wanted a family, and I was kind of questioning what mark am I leaving? What am I building here? Is this really fulfilling me? I had a great job, stable income, job security, really interesting work, incredible clients. And I just kind of at the end of the day was this is my chance to take a risk. And I saw an opening in the market and I just thought, I think I could do it better. And I just kind of took the leap.
That is a big leap. And I'm so glad you did too. So, okay. So you're doing fashion law. So that makes sense where obviously fashion has already been a passion for you. When did that begin? The love for fashion in your life?
It was actually more of a love for business and less of fashion. My college roommates actually teased me because I showed up to my first day of college in my high school uniform. I like literally had zero fashion sense. Um, so I think the fashion element was actually something that was learned and curated as I think the more you learn about anything, like if say you love cooking, the more you get into it, the more interest you are in like nonstick pans or like specialty forkware. I don't know. I don't cook. But the same is true, I think, for fashion. Like the more you start to learn about it and you can appreciate these high-end designers, you really understand like, wow, I understand why these shoes are $500 or this blouse is $300 because you can start to understand like what design elements go into it, the fabric, the differences and small design cuts, things like that. You can start to appreciate it and understand. And I think that's really what hooked me into it was just the incredible amount of talent and knowledge base that needs to go into something in order to create a fashion apparel product. And that's something that I get to enjoy at the Revury every day. We're luxury resale and we have about 500 consigners across 10 states. And that's all done in about 2 years since we launched. And to give you perspective, my daughter is almost 2. She's 21 months. She'll be 2 this summer. And my business is 2. So like you can...
Wow.
Gives you a very healthy perspective of how absolutely nuts my life has been in 2 months. Like we've gone from like an apartment to like a small, like windowless hole in the wall to this beautiful showroom that we have. It's like 5,000 square feet with like ocean views. It's just been an incredible journey of like propelling forward, even if you don't know exactly where you're going. But we've been led by an incredible team. My board is comprised of like 2 senior level former employees from The Real, who's kind of our main competitor, and one of the former heads of data science at Stitch Fix. And so the way that we've kind of pioneered this path is we have a focus on technology. So everything has been priced by an algorithm instead of a human. And the question is like, how can we automate this process to make it more efficient, more accurate? And like that's something that we just learned from our predecessor is like, okay, where were there red flags and how can we do it better? How can we do it different? And that's kind of where I started. And, where we are now, it still is very, very tech focused, but I think the team itself is what makes us like so special. I mentioned we're a team of all moms. But it didn't start out that way. Like I started out as like a hardline attorney, like, all right, I want pedigree. I want experience. I want like the best of the best in the market. And that didn't pan out for us. We saw a lot of turnover. Our productivity was down. It wasn't jiving. And at a certain point I was like, what am I doing wrong? And I just took a hard look at everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just throw the rule book out the window. I'm going to start hiring from my gut. I brought on one of my good girlfriends. I was like, you want to come do this? Like literally it was just like that. I was like, so you want to come work? And it actually worked out to be incredible. Like I cut the workday from 8 hours to 6 because we're moms. And like at the end of the day, we have to be responsible for our kids. We have to pick them up. We have to get them to their activities. So we cut the workday from 8 hours to 6. And then I bumped up everyone's starting pay. And what's so incredible is that we've seen our revenue go up 45%.
Wow.
Our productivity, volume products is up 12%. And our overall wages, it's down 34%, which is so mind-blowing.
Is that because you've been able to have less employees that are more productive? Is that how you've been able to bring down the overall cost?
Yeah, I think, and I don't think you can just attribute it to one thing. I do think it is the quality and caliber of the labor, but I also just think that there is something to be said about moms in the workforce. Like they show up hungry and ready, and there's no, that's beneath me sentiment, or like that's not in my pay grade. Like that's not in my pay grade. They show up and they're ready to work, and they hustle, and while they're there, there's no downtime. Like I don't know if you've ever seen a mom during the day, but like. If you need to get a project done, if you need a multitasker to get a project done on a budget, hire yourself a mom. Yeah. I completely believe this to be true. Like, just think about it. Like, let's just think about it. Like, let's just say, okay, we're going to throw you 3 kids, 4 sports schedules, 7 days for the week, and hey, $10 for gas, go. And they actually could get that done. Honestly, they execute. And there's something to be said about that. I truly believe that moms are the most valuable asset in the corporate world that corporate America doesn't know it's missing. It's I feel like I just hit goals, really. And I think being able to offer that flexibility of, okay, you know what? It's 6 hours. It's not 8. But while they're here, they churn out products. They work really hard. We've seen incredible growth in numbers. And I think, and like all of it is data driven. Like this isn't just, a softball question that we do for publicity. It's like, this is actually what's working for our business. Mm-hmm. And, I think that the greater corporate America could learn a lesson from this. Like these are hungry, hardworking people, and it's a great environment to be around. They're fun. They're exciting. They bring a breath of fresh air. I've never worked on a team where like, I could honestly say like, I would want to hang out with them or like have a drink. I came from so many different worlds. But this is by far, the happiest place that I've been in a workplace environment.
I love that so much that you talk about the corporate world learning from this, because I think if there's anything that the pandemic has taught us is that the old ways aren't necessarily the only ways. And, there's remote work now, there's people cutting down the work week or the work day. And I think allowing that space to be mom friendly is life-changing for everyone, which I think is so cool that you've been able to do that. With this team of women that you have, how many are on your group or are in your team right now?
So we are a lean mean team of 3. It's 3 of us, myself included, and we're all moms. And, going back to your point about corporate America trying to allow the space for moms to re-enter the workforce, I think this is absolutely true for moms, but I think even on a bigger scale, it's about burnout and work-life balance. And, we see in our competition, there's like an average career span of like 2.5 years, 2 years before they move on to the next thing. And I think a lot of that, as we said, is that they're getting burnt out. We're working people too hard. We're not understanding that when they leave when we leave the office, they still have a whole day ahead of them of carpools and groceries and laundry and pickups and drop-offs. And that is exhausting. And if we could just afford a little bit of flexibility, if we can get them 2 hours of their life back, just think about how they can show up the next day energized. Like they show up and it's like, we're ready to work. We're not burnt out. We're showing up. We believe in this. I think that's incredibly important, is having somebody who's showing up and is like, I believe in what we're doing and I'm here to help it grow. I didn't walk away from my job as a lawyer just because I want to make money. I did it because I wanted to build something better, something that I believed in, something that when I die, I could say like, wow, this made a great impact on the world. And I truly think that's something the Revury is doing. And it's from the ground up. It's like from our team, who's working on our workforce, to who are the people we're helping. Like our consigners don't have an option to cash in on their closet, or if they do, they're not able to. Maybe they're working. They don't have the time to sell on Poshmark. Maybe they don't have the ability or the knowledge of like, okay, how do I take a good photo? Like, how do I market it? Allowing people to cash in on their closet effortlessly, or democratizing fashion. Like, let's just say there's a brand you love and you weren't able to afford it on the primary market, or maybe you're just not willing to pay $300 for a blouse. I get that. And how can we make those brands affordable and accessible? Bringing it online, marking down those prices, extending the product life cycle. It's a true win-win-win if you're looking at it from a consignor perspective, a customer perspective, and a global perspective of creating a more sustainable future for fashion.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal right now with the landfills and the quick fashion. And listen, I am not against that either. I feel like there are places for different articles of clothing in everyone's wardrobe. Could you take a step back just once or twice here and tell our audience what the product is exactly? Because I think that they're getting it, but maybe say it one more time, a little more slowly, of like, how could someone listening take advantage of this if they had products in their office or in their closet that they wanted to sell or if they were interested in buying? Like, what is it exactly that we have?
So we are an online marketplace to consign and shop designer fashion. So we can only take higher end labels because those are going to be the ones that have the most demand, meaning the highest resale value for our consigners, but also the best quality in terms of the longevity of their product life cycle. And so you're going to see brands like Mother Denim, Zarina, Ulla Johnson, Isabel Marant, Vince, brands like that, maybe of an upper echelon level, that are really expensive on the primary market, but on the secondhand market can have a really healthy discount. And it can really open the doors for new customers to come in and try and shop those labels. Unfortunately, we can't carry any fast fashion labels such as Gap. We don't carry J. Crew. We don't carry Free People. A lot of these kind of Zara, H&M. And a lot of it is because that market's been cannibalized. Like I can't compete if you're selling a Free People dress on Poshmark for $5. Like I can't compete with that in terms of maintaining our numbers and margins. And also, like, for example, if you throw a Zara shirt in the wash, you know, it's likely going to fall apart and not have the wherewithal to be resold, right? At least not to the condition standards that we hold for ourselves at the Revury. And so we're a place where there's high quality, beautiful luxury products that people can't just give away. They can't just donate it to Goodwill because they've spent too much on it, but they know they're never going to wear it again. Like that's where we step in. We help them clean those out, resell it online. We mail out checks every month to our consigners, and they can just log in, view their products and sales. They don't have to do anything.
So do they ship their clothing to you? Is that how it works to get the items and then you take photos of them and do all of the marketing online? Is that how it works?
Exactly. So we're full service. So consigners can go onto our website, download free prepaid shipping labels and mail their items in. And then it goes through our proprietary systems. So in the beginning, I kind of mentioned that we were tech enabled. Every step of the way, we have a tech to back us up. So when a product comes in, it's going through our system. We take a photo of it. We use image recognition to help us with authentication. We then do a second layer of human authentication so we can really get down into the quality and the certain hallmarks of each brand. Then it goes to our proprietary pricing algorithm that prices the resale value. And then lastly, if there's any extra photos that we need to take, we'll snap those and then post it live. So on the back end, our consigners can log in and see their products listed out, all their sales. And then on the front end, customers can come and they can shop, and we do free shipping and returns. So we're the only online reseller who does free returns. And the idea for all of that is we want this to be a space where you can try. Like you shouldn't have to pay restocking fees just to try on, right? And I understand that at scale, that's a harder number to budge. But right now, as a small company, I'm just here to try and do good and try to open this door to as many people as possible, because I do think that shopping second is the best thing we can do for our environment.
That's really cool. I'm curious about how you went from the idea of concept to actually creating the company. Like, did you have investors? Did you have someone that was willing to jump on board? I know you said that you had some partnerships. And maybe that was, how did you put it together? I mean, that was,
I get asked that a lot, and I just rolled up my sleeves. I left my law firm with nothing more than an idea. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to get to work. And, the first thing I did is I went through all the public filings of our competitors in the marketplace. And I just searched for issue spotting is a big thing in the legal world. I'm like, where do I see issues, like flaws in their procedure or, potential fallbacks, things that would hold them from hitting profitability at scale. And I was like, all right, so this is what I need to do. It looks like their big issues are brick and mortar, heavy labor costs, authentication issues. And, a good solution to all these things is technology. Maybe we should go look at tech-focused companies, Stitch Fix. Okay, let's see what they're doing. Okay, this is how they managed it. All right, now who do I need on my team to be able to build that out? Well, I probably need somebody from my competition to help advise me. So the first thing I did is I recruited my board. I started developing the technology. My sister writes pricing algorithms. She works for a major insurance company in London. So she helps me start out with our pricing algorithm. And what it does is it takes into account the various factors that a consumer would consider when making a purchase decision, right? So what's the brand? What's the condition? What's the original retail value? All of these different factors go into this algorithm. And the way she explains it to me is it's no different than creating a pricing algorithm for a life insurance policy, right? There's different factors that you have to take into account, age, pre-existing conditions, like health issues, all that gets factored into your policy, right? Same exact thing with our pricing algorithm. And it's probably one of the most robust on the market. It accounts for over 1,000 designers across 32 product categories. And so the idea is that it's better than humans. It removes the subjectivity around it. So you might think that this blouse is beautiful and you'll mark it at 100. But, the next person's like, oh no, it's hideous. It's $30. And it's so subjective. It's like, how can we streamline this and create a uniform basis that's calculated so that we can manage the expectations of both consigners and customers and create a true fair market value for these products at resale base. And that's what we set out to do. And frankly, we're doing it pretty exceptionally.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love that you took an idea and went and hit the ground running. I mean, I'm sure
I had a lot of doors closed.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's like bumps that happen. So
yeah.
Can you share any of those with us? Some things that.
Yeah. I mean, so I funded the company solely. I took all of my savings from my law career and I just threw it into this, which is incredibly scary. And really hard to do, especially when there's a few people who believe in your idea. I've had my fair share of, knocking on doors, trying to recruit people to our board. Especially when I'm pitching to VCs, I've noticed it's really hard where people won't directly say to your face, like, that's never going to work, but they'll kind of give you like a sarcastic laugh, like, good luck with that, honey. Oh, best of luck with that, sweetie. And it's kind of hard, especially because when you're trying to explain to them, like, look, we're a team of all moms. We are hustling. We have incredible technology behind us that we have developed. Look at our board. We have like major backers who believe in this idea. And I'm coming to you to say, we're doing it differently. And that's scary. But like, I need you to take a bet on us because we're going to win. And, you get a lot of doors closed in your face, especially when you're going into really traditional sectors. That might not understand or be willing to open their minds to the idea that there's a new way of doing something.
That's powerful. What do you think one of the biggest lessons you've learned so far in these last 2 years?
Is humility. I think when I was an attorney, I kind of felt like I made it. I did it. Like, I'm top of the world. I'm an attorney. And it takes a lot of humility to do a startup, like when I first started, like we didn't have marketing. Like, how do you grow to a base of 500 consigners, over 2,000 customers? You have to go out and knock on doors. And it's hard to have somebody close the door in your face. Like I remember I had an experience, we do these pop-ups to try to go, we literally go out onto the street and we put up a clothing rack and I just sell it. And I explain to people, I'm like, this is look at this clothes. Look at this. You're getting mother jeans for $50. These are like $200 jeans. Like, this is incredible. Like, and you can be doing this online from the comfort of your couch. Like, this is exciting. Like, everybody needs to know about how great of a deal this is. And it's win-win for everyone. Like, you guys, you need to know this. And I'll just sit on the street corner and sell. Literally, I have a rack of clothing and I'll start selling it. And I remember I had a former coworker come out and be like, wait, didn't you pass the bar? Like, aren't you an attorney? And I was like, I quit. Now I do this. And I sell clothes on the street. And it's so humbling to have to swallow that and say, I did have that. And I walked away from it to do this, to take this huge risk. And, you can kind of see the skepticism in people and they're like, oh, geez, like she's really lost it. But at the end of the day, we really have a lot to show for ourselves. And I'm really proud. And, I hope that one day they come back and they can see, our beautiful showroom and our team that we built and, the network that we've expanded to in all these different states, because I can't really take credit for any of the growth. I can say that I led it and I spearheaded it and I believed in it and I funded it. But at the end of the day, you can't do anything alone. And if you can have the humility to say, I need help, I need to bring people in, I think that is the biggest key to success, is just swallowing your pride.
Love it. Working hard and staying humble. That is the truth. I know that you talked a lot about your daughter being the impetus of the beginning of this. What do you hope that she's learning from watching you building this business?
I really wanted a family, and I had so many miscarriages. I just wanted it so bad. Um, that I wanted to be involved in her life, and I wanted something that she could be proud of. And what's really cool is that we are a family-friendly office. So everyone on my team can bring their kids in the office. It's half day or they're sick or, sitter cancels, whatever it is. Like, we're a safe space to bring your kids. You can still work and you don't have to choose. And, by doing all this, I just hope that McLean has a better future where she doesn't have to choose between work or having a family, and she can have the support that she needs to be able to do it. And, I humbly just follow in the footsteps of my mom. She was an attorney at a big law firm back in like the 80s when it was very rare. And, she had to break through so many glass ceilings. And unfortunately, there is a strain, I think, in professional circles where sometimes people say, well, you have to crawl your way up and no one's going to give you a hand and we're going to step on you the whole way through. And I don't think that competition is the key to success. I think it's collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as attorneys, we're competitive by nature, but I don't think stepping on someone else to get ahead is ever going to get you very far down the line. And so for McLean, I'm just trying to build a better world where, she can thrive and she can do whatever she wants. And hopefully she won't have to make that choice between, and I think a lot of people face this is, do I want to be a mom or do I want to have a career? And I think you should have that choice. I don't think you should work, but I think you should have the choice to say, I want to work or I want to be a mom or I want to do both. And being able to do both is really beautiful. I love getting to show up and create something that I'm proud of. And then I love being able to leave at 2:00 and pick my kid up and enjoy a day with her. And that shouldn't be so crazy, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. I think that there are so many pressures that are put on moms in so many areas and angles, and it's impossible to try to impress or to get everyone's approval. It's just impossible. So I'm with you. Choice of letting women choose whether or not they want to be moms, whether or not they want to work, whether or not they want to be married. There are so many societal pressures that can bring us down. And so I love that your company is all about changing the narrative, not only about the way that you're conducting your business and creating new life in fashion and protecting our environment that way, but also making it conducive to women and to moms. I just think I applaud you. I think that you're pioneering something, and your mom pioneered too. Like, I just think of what the women have done before us and how we're standing on their shoulders of like what's coming next and what will be available for our kids. And I just think that that's such a beautiful legacy.
Yeah. And I don't think, if anyone's listening, like, don't feel held back. Like, you are in control of your destiny. And if there is something that you don't like right now, go take this as like your push to change it. I wasn't fully satisfied in my career as a lawyer and I wanted more. And if no one else is offering you the job that you want, go build it. Like, go do it, because everyone else is going to benefit from it. If you go out and you build the company that's going to offer you the work-life balance, the ability to be a mom, the ability to create money for yourself, whatever it is, go do it, because there is going to be 100 people behind you who are going to be so grateful that you did it.
Yeah.
So I hope this could be your little wake-up call.
Yes.
The world needs you guys. You guys are best.
I love it. And it's so much fun every week in these episodes to share different stories of women and mothers living and enjoying their lives differently. Every balance isn't the same for everyone, but it's a beautiful thing to discover. And you are the author of your life. You get to create and decide, and you are in the driver's seat. So I hope for those who are listening, hopefully this has, ignited that flame a little bit more, and that you're hearing this and being inspired by whatever that little voice in you is telling you to do. Because it's an age where we really can take advantage of these experiences. So thank you so much for being on the show today. We have a special code for the listeners. Do you want to share that? Or I can share it if you're like, I can't remember. I
can't remember it.
Okay.
I'm like, so, oh no, what was it?
Yeah, no, you're good. So the code is Call Me CEO 15 for 15% off. And I don't know if that expires or when that expires.
Nope,
but
it doesn't expire. It's a one-time use though. So make sure you put everything in your cart first.
Oh, perfect. And that's it. The Revury.com. So that is spelled Revury. We'll put the link in the description below. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You are inspiring, and I can't wait to see what happens from here.
Oh, thanks, Camille. Thanks for having me.
Hey, CEOs, thank you so much for spending your time with me. If you found this episode inspiring or helpful, please let me know in a comment and a 5-star review. You could have the chance of being a featured review on an upcoming episode. Continue the conversation on Instagram at Call Me CEO Podcast. And remember, you are the boss.